And at the end of the day, this is just a very relaxing part of the day. It's like polishing a bike and taking the bugs off after a ride. Come on, smile! Smile, you're on Windy Videos. You'll be a movie star. People in Australia will know who you are. Today, now that all the battery chargers are flipped, and we're coming up on the end of the season when these battery chargers need to be flipped. The weather's warmed up a little bit. It's turned out to be another beautiful day. We've had a couple of days of riding the GS, a couple of days of riding the RD. It's been great. But what happens to me is every time, this time of year, Karen picks a day that she wants me to turn into a farmer. Now, in the past, I've kind of resisted arrest, and I didn't want to get on a tractor, and I hate putting a sombrero on and digging and shoveling, and I fight it because I really want to go out riding today. Well, but you know what? Every once in a while, I got to suck it up and take one for the team. And there's a long story about take one for the team. If you don't know what take one for the team means, I'll explain it now, because we're not going to really do any motorcycle riding today. So no, I don't think so anyway. Anyway, we had it's a very short story, but I know it's a lot of fun for people to hear this. If you've ever heard me say over the years, take one for the team, what that means is that we have a friend, I will not mention any names, but her mom is a single mom, and she was dating, and she had a date with an extremely wealthy guy who had a yacht and a jet plane and all this stuff. And the daughters dolled her all up and sent her out on this date. And then they waited up for her to come back home that night. And when she came home, she said, yeah, he's a nice guy, and you know, he's got a jet plane, and he's got hey, he looks like Wendy Arnowski, he's very handsome. They go through this whole thing. And the daughter is saying, but mom, what's going to happen here? And the mother says, just out off the top of her head, says, oh, we don't have any chemistry. And the daughter says, Mom, take one for the team. You know, I could really relate to that too. It's really funny, but it's true. Anyway, that's the take one for the team story. We're going to turn into farmers today. We're going to head out to our local garden center. We got, and every one of the days I have to take one for the team. Maybe that should be the name of today's video. Take one for the team. Because we got to turn into farmers today. I got to feed the mule, put new tires on the tractor. We got tractor tires. We need track days for the tire. But I know I'm losing my mind, but I know this is my day to take one for the team. Now, ironically enough, I called Luciano to see what he was doing today, and he's taking one for the team too. Cindy's got him doing something, going to the garden center or whatever. I guess we're all in the same boat together. Hey, one thing I have really come to appreciate, that center stand, the other day when I got back from a ride, I adjusted the chain, cleaned the back wheel. It was a piece of cake. Normally I got to jack the bike up and it's a big ordeal. So at least one thing I did on the GS, that paid dividends, that's for sure. Getting that spring on was really bad though. So I got to oogle, hug, and kiss all the bikes. Get on my Farmer Brown clothes, my farmer shoes, my farmer underwear. Make sure to, well, I sound like I'm complaining, but I'm not. I really do like working in the garden along with Karen. And it is, to be honest, it is one of the things we enjoy together for over 30 years. And even when we lived in the other house in Harmon Cove, we enjoyed having plants. And I enjoy them. I really sound like I'm crying the blues, but I'm not. It's just like, to me, the garden is one extra motorcycle. So one final thought here, and this is true. I always think if Karen were born in another day and age, she would be born on a farm in Indiana or something like that. She would have some acreage, and we really would have a farm, and we'd have barnyard animals and chickens and fresh eggs and everything. I think we both are a little bit like fish out of water, but I often think it's the same thing. We're limited by how many square feet we have. And I think what I'm limited by is if I had a 3-car garage, I'd have a few more old motorcycles, but I'm limited by my square footage, and I'm limited by the fact, and I guess most people already realize this, I'm getting long in the tooth, and I've got to pick my poison. I just can't run off and spend a year doing something that I really might not enjoy. I'm trying to make every day enjoyable. And we're going to enjoy this day at the garden center. I don't know if Pokey's going to be able to pick this up in the next couple of days, but this project really came out way better than I thought it would. And I look at it every day here while I'm just oogling stuff. I've got a couple other little things that happen before I get ready to get out of here. So another thing is I did get my replacement battery. Greenworks was nice enough to know that I had complained that the battery never took a charge on this. It was a problem. And they decided to compensate me with the more expensive of the batteries. It's instead of so many amps, it's double the amount of amps. So can't wait to use this tonight. And it is very nice when you deal with a company and you buy an expensive tool and they make good on something like this. Now this is supposed to be a way more double the amount of power battery, even though it's an 80 volt, by the way. I think it's, but I don't know enough about electricity to know what they changed, but I know that this is one heavy battery. I'm going to have some nice big Arnold Schwarzenegger arms when I go to use this. And every day are from seedling plants. Oh, Nanda Novola, you have done it to us. We are really, I can't tell you how much fun we're having. I don't think you really can see this, but we have a mating ritual going on. The fish are mating inside the bucket. Where the taro is? I'm not sure you can even see this, but I think that's priceless. I think I could turn them into farming, do some farming for me. So when you're a farmer, you have to spend a lot of time in the garden center. And that's what we're doing today for sure. We got to stock up on all the little things we need to get our garden growing. What is that, peppers? The fun just never ends here. It's a great life being a farmer. Look at that. Karen, are you going to be a happy girl today?
I am.
Will you make me an extra cup of coffee?
At least. Maybe some cookies.
Oh my God, look at this. One first wagon load going in the garden. Yeah, I don't know how much more fun you could have if you're a farmer here. As Karen supervises the loading of potting soil. Holy mackerel. So this is the view you want to always see when you're a farmer. You go into your garage, you check out your motorcycle collection, oogle them a little bit, make sure they're all happy puppies. And now you got 800 pounds of topsoil and potting soil and marijuana plants and who the hell knows what else you bought today. You know, it's funny, those bags of potting soil, they were a lot lighter when I was younger. They got heavy in the last couple of years. Oh my God, the bees and birds and everything are still on the wisteria. Wow, it's beautiful this year. Her whole garden now, in the next, I don't know, week or so. We still have frost warning, so we're not putting stuff in the ground, but little by little, this is going to turn into Karen's garden. One of the things I'm always amazed at is how people walk right by flowers or those flowering trees or something. Never even see them. Now what a great way to have a cup of coffee with my bride. This is a girl and her garden. Here we are. Time to put the umbrella up. We're going to sit out here and for the next couple hours just oogle our garden. Come on, smile! Smile, you're on Windy Videos. You'll be a movie star. People in Australia will know who you are. So as we take our afternoon walk, all the azaleas are coming out, the flowering trees. Oh, Rutherford's a beautiful place this time of year. Look at the beautiful flowers here. Wow. Smile, Karen. Smile. Pretend that you're irises. Another great walk. That's why we stay in great shape. Or not. Oh, I love coming home to the backyard. I love my wisteria. Time to do some work out here though. So I finally get to try out the beast here in my backyard. And boy, we have, as you can tell, we have plenty of things to edge and trim and everything. And my other one lasted about 10 years. I hope I'm still alive in 10 years. I don't have to bite a 40-year roof anymore. You're right about one thing. This thing is a beast. Holy mackerel, this thing a beast. So, truth in advertising, the tool works phenomenal. There's one thing I don't like. This has some kind of a safety thing here that you have to press in with your thumb before you can work the trigger. Now, the problem with this is when you turn it where you want to edge that way, your thumb isn't in the right spot. I guess they didn't think that through, or I don't know what. Who the hell knows? Anyway, I've got to figure a way of holding that in. I don't know, put some tape on it or duct tape or something. Gorilla tape. I don't know. That's the only part of the whole tool. Other than that, it works great. And the sun is out, all our plants are sunning outside. Now we're supposed to take them in at night because we're still expecting a chance of frost, but this is Karen, of course. Since it's a take one for the team day, I'm doing everything the boss says. So if you're trying to override this switch, what I did, I took a sheetrock screw just to put some threads in there so it binds these two together. Press that down all the way. Now I'll find a more appropriate screw, but I needed the sheetrock screw to put some threads in there. And now that's a good fix. Now you can use the tool. So here's what I found. If you put a screw that's too long, of course it jams up something in here. Well, this doesn't release exactly the way it should. So you got to be real careful. And of course, this is why a good tip, never throw the screws of anything you take apart away. And I think I have every screw from my childhood even. But what happens here, if you just back this screw out just enough, it keeps this trigger locked. And now the good thing, if I ever had to return this to Amazon, I would just take that screw out. They would never even know it. But so far this thing is a beast. Wow. Now, I know another thing. They make ends on this, because I have one already. I haven't put it on yet. They make this that you can use. It's way thicker than this. It's twice as thick. It's what the landscapers use. And when I do, see, here's what it's useful for. When I do the ivy, I can get up on a ladder and it just pulverizes. That's why I really wanted the bees. It pulverizes the ivy. So that turned out to be some useful information we can share, and boy, this is a tool I will enjoy using. So one thing I can say for sure, it just puts down an edge on a sidewalk in a matter of seconds. Unbelievable tool, really good, but there's other things we have to do today. That thing is truly a beast. Well, we worked on this yard until the long shadows were coming in, and it was worth every minute. And at the end of the day, this is just a very relaxing part of the day. It's like polishing a bike and taking the bugs off after a ride. So we did use this day, I think, very well. And Karen has a great saying at the end of every day when we're having supper or whatever. She always says, I think this was a day well spent. Well, today was. Even though we didn't get to ride, and actually it was a rideable day, but you know what, there'll be more. I feel like I got such a big bite out of the yard work now. I'm just waiting for the mulch, because once that's done, then, and the garden is in for the year, then it is officially the riding season, and Karen understands it's riding every day. She knows that. So anyway, we got to use our Beast weed whacker, and quite a nice tool. I edged the whole property, and you know, this was a day well spent. But we really didn't talk about motorcycles much today, or share any of our motorcycle adventures. So what I'm going to try to do is, at the end of this video, I'll look through the archives and try to find something that would be interesting or motivational, or you never know what's in the archives. I got thousands of pictures, thousands of videos. I want to find something that'll be fun and interesting to put at the end of this. So I hope you didn't mind. Well, you know, this is really a motorcycle channel. But the truth is, part of motorcycling is knowing when to take one for the team. If you don't know that, sometimes you get yourself on some thin ice. I have anyway. That's the truth. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you to the healthcare workers. Wow. Every day I turn on the TV and I see some of the heroes that have made this whole life that Karen and I have, and maybe the life that you have too, and Luciano's life. It made that all possible because they're taking care of us. So thank you guys. And again, hope you enjoyed the video. And thanks for watching. And thanks for doing all that yard work for your wife. She'll love you for it. I'm not so sure. I'll put that on hold. Okay, thanks for watching. Okay, I looked through the archives here, and this is one of the days that I think is worth remembering. There's a lot of good stuff on here. And it's a day we all got together. It's from 2014, and everybody will recognize each other's bike. That's Chuck's bike there. And this is a bike that Vlad's friend was riding. I think Vlad eventually bought this bike from him, but I'm not sure, of course. Again, somebody I don't know, but I recognize the bike. I don't know who it belongs to. But, there's several here, because this is our group. Now, for anybody who doesn't know, up on Perkins, this used to be, or maybe it is after the virus is over, we're going to get back here, but every weekend there would be some bikes we hadn't seen before, because people would come from, and if you don't live in our area, you don't know about Perkins. Perkins is the top of Bear Mountain. It's a lookout point, and it's about a 2-mile twisty back road full of S-turns to get there. So the ride itself is nice. From the top of the mountain, it's a great lookout. And of course, bikes are drawn there from everywhere within a couple hundred miles. Saturday and Sunday, and it'd always be bikes we hadn't seen before. So from me, and cars, of course, too. And there's Joe the Ranger. He's one of our good friends. And there's always some cool cars if you like cars. Always some antique stuff. Always some new stuff. Always some old stuff. Some of our friends that we know by what bike they ride, we know by their name, and we know they're in witness protection. And some of the peers, Luciano and Dave, and some of the people that over the years, and of course our friends the police that keep us company all the time, and well, can be your best friend if you slide into a fence or something, or go over a cliff. This is a guy he's an iconic guy. He calls himself Willie Nelson, I think. And this is one we had. Now, there's several cool things on this little selection of videos. Oh, boy, that was in nice shape, too. There's a beauty. That's a rare bike. Let's see. Now, I wanted to see, and I don't know when. I don't have these in any specific order, but that was in beautiful shape. The pictures don't show it, and being in that good a shape. And, of course, the VMAXs, the classics. That's Dave's bike, which eventually, I'm not sure. I don't remember who bought that. I think Luciano might have bought that. I don't remember. Anyway, the Ninja, Luciano's bike. If you don't know if he bought it or not, somewhere in there you could take a guess and you'd be right more than you'd be wrong. And I think Vlad bought that bike from his friend. I'm not sure. There's always a nice selection of Harleys, the guys that like baggers and the touring bikes. Always some hot cars. Now, because I'm not a car guy, a lot of times $1 million car goes by and I look and to me it doesn't look, I don't recognize that it's either a very fast car, very expensive, or both. If it has Ferrari emblems on it, I recognize it.
And yeah, and a few vets and whatnot. But most of the cars, I don't even recognize them. And to be honest, they don't have any definitive styling. Some of them, they all start to look alike. So I don't know if that's fair or not. Maybe they think that I look alike. I don't know. But anyway, they're always there for people that have an interest in that. Always unique bikes. Now, I try to take pictures every time I'm up there, and I literally have thousands and thousands of pictures from going back a long time. And this is 2014, so we're already you figure it out. 6 years old, and I think that's Pokey's bike. I'm not sure. You can see some of these. There's Joe's bike, but look at the scenery. How beautiful it is to look out the mountains there. Beautiful day, and that's Charlie Ducati's bike. And there's always bikes that we know the guy. See, there's always a funny thing. There's people There's Joe, of course. That's a classic bike that belongs in my collection when I get a bigger garage. And there's always, and this guy was a lot of fun. I remember the Indian guy with all these tassels and this was a unique bike, and how proud he was of having it. It's a replica bike, and it's got this feature and that feature, and and he had two of them. There were two guys came up with these. Now I wonder, you sweep your driveway when you go in there. You don't even have to get the dust off the driveway. But it's always something unique, something different, something makes it worth the trip. Look at the things dragging on the ground here. But anyway, this is like from my father's day and age, and he's got LED lights. It probably all lights up at night like a Christmas tree. I know Luciano wants those lights that he can light up his Ducati at night. When he pulls in the driveway, people think it's a Christmas tree coming in the driveway. Anyway, taste in motorcycles is like taste in women. What works for one person, hey, there's Pokey, doesn't work for anybody else. And there's the Red Bull Ducati, whatever that means. And there's always stuff like this and I'm not sure what that's. Is that a Harley? I can't even tell. Or a Volkswagen or an outer spaceship. It's hard to tell. Anyway, look at the dashboard on this thing. Jeez. Looks like for a model train thing to do the switches. Anyway, going to Perkins is always a thrill. There's Jerry. Always a thrill and always great memories. Now, taste in motorcycles can be anything from there's Chuck oogling a bike. But there's people that like that. That's the beauty of motorcycling. It's like a buffet. People like dirt bikes. People like Chuck has a collection of old dirt bikes. People like the bikes like I collect. And Bob and Joe. No matter what you like, there's something at Perkins. Anyway, funny story why Bob has two mufflers. But we're going to end this little photo show with a great little clip of video for Joe Roselli and for, of course, for Luciano.